Good morning. Welcome along, everyone. Welcome to Steel Horse Station. It is Tuesday, the 13th of June here in Melbourne, and looking forward to a good stream today. Hope everyone is having a good start to the week. I done a couple of things to get us organised. Let us just pop across to Newlands and see where things are at. It is a wet morning, as you can see. We are still heavily overstocked with the pigs, so they're on zero health, but they do have plenty of food. However, down the hill here, these ones they are fully stocked and they should be in better health, which means we can move some across and sell them, which is the plan. So the meatworks fattening, we've got a full-ish yard over there, and we're waiting for those to get old enough to move in. We've got 2 at 10 months, so we've got a trailer load there that now they're healthy we can put into the meatworks. And in the extension yard where we were just looking, we've got some here which are also in good shape to move. So we'll take care of that straight away. Particularly while it's raining, it's a good activity to get sorted. And just bear with me for 1 second because I've got to get my real life dog inside. Okay, with all the morning activities done, you can see just in the top of the screen there, we just sold some trees, so starting to get the bank balance up a little bit, which will be helpful to deal with the olives. Now, let's see where we are here. 10 months old, we want to move those. There's only one of that one. More 10 months old. Move those across. So there's 20. We can head across to the meatworks. So those that haven't caught up, well, we decided in the last episode that or the last stream on here last week, that we would branch into olives, so to speak. We've got a couple of grass fields here to when the rain stops so that we can get our corn in. And you can see right over on the far ridge the oats have come up, so they're probably going to need some fertilizer as well at some point. But the crops are going into the ground, which is good. What's up in the shop today? Let's have a look as we drive past. I've got a little bit of hay fever to start this morning. Yeah. Interesting. The Fent is would be a nice pickup. We use the manure for other things, so we don't really need a manure spreader, and we don't need a dozer blade. So the only thing that's vaguely interesting there is the cultivator, but we're not doing an enormous amount. We tend to plow or direct drill. G'day, Mark Haythornwaite. How are you, sir? Welcome in. Hope you're having... Well, I hope your Monday was productive. Just doing a load of pigs across to the meatworks, where we should have, and it looks like we do, quite a bit of meat to sell. Oops, hit the fence. Hiding behind that tree. Come on. There we go. Remove you. Yeah, move to production. There we go. Select you. Move to production. I noticed just before I fired everything up that 82 Studios has been busy again. Got a very impressive looking, at least from the screenshots, heavy haulage setup that is put in place for all platforms. I'm sure some folks will have some fun with those. Yeah, we should be able to find a trigger here somewhere. There it is. And 4 months are no good to us. 1 month is no good to us. 10 months are good. Let's take those ones around. The rain's helpful in some respects, as it makes it easy to make the decision to focus on doing this bit. Oops, it's too wide on that corner. In the right spot we are. Goodness me, my nose is going to be annoying today. Move those, yes. Let's have a look at the production while we're here. We need seeds again in, and we can turn the slurry off. pork. We've got plenty. We've got another one that's not running, haven't we? So which one are you? You're... Oh no, they're both running. That's all right. Lamb. We've got plenty of lamb to go on with. And pretty much everything's spawned. So that's good. Let's wander around and have a look. We have pork. We got sitting out here. More pork. Need a loading bay here, I think. These little pellets are moderately annoying. Lamb, so we won't worry about that. So that's not worth taking around to sell at this stage. What's that? Gelatin. Yep. So there's plenty of gelatin there. The fattening yard, just refresh my memory. He's only got young stirrers in it, but enough food for at least the stream for the moment, because they won't eat that much. Welcome along, whoever's been able to pop into the background. Great to see you. Well, almost see you. YouTube increased a counter, but that's about all. Now, everybody's on the crossings. There we go. Way past, we might just stop and send our delivery truck back. There. Right. So that'll be good. He can make his own way while we'll take terrain low. And no, I haven't bothered to fix the train. So let's pop up, go around and take some more out of the main. Looks like the rain stopped, so that'll be handy. We can get that grass cut, which is probably the next job to be doing. a sort of spare job is to plough that new field on the hillside and get some grass in there if we get a chance. It's kind of a if time permits. Driving past the fabric place there, the fabric pile there, we should have a look at how much fabric we have and what the price is doing. I suspect it'll need to go another month, but you never know. What do we? So we've got a heap of animals in here, 312, and they're all fairly young. 6 months, 18 months, 10 months. Let's take the 6-month-olds because they can go straight across. Have I got 20 of them? Yes. So we can send you straight to the meatworks. Select the correct. There we go. Now, what has happened here? Why have I not seen the vehicle that should have gotten out of the... Huh. Who knew? Not been up in here? There's me. There's a little loft there. Where is the other truck? Oh no, he's found his way. He's just... I've screwed up something. I changed some routing, so... don't want to do that job. You're on your way. I find it very interesting that if the snow's not on the ground when you I feel like, hey, I've just got woken up with hay fever. Well, at least I think it's hay fever. It could easily be a cold. Just define it as morning sickness. Of all the jobs to oh look mate, I live in a 100-year-old house, which is old for this part of the world, and dust and dust mites along with pollen doesn't take much to trigger me, but these days the dust is annoying. Well, we've got fertilizer in this. I reckon we should pop over before I forget, because I'm pretty sure that we will find, yes, that the oats need some fertilizing, as do the sugar beets. So let's go and do that while we've got a fertilizer tank on the back. I know that feeling. These days I minimize the antihistamine until I just can't put up with it anymore, because what I find is over time a single dose of antihistamine kind of does the trick and eases the hay fever, but over time it just makes me so tired. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know which is worse. I must put a road up to... I suppose we should buy this block of land before I go cutting a road in it, but... I have to think about it when we... After this harvest season, when we reap these crops, what layout I want for these fields so you can actually get to the top field that we've made up here. Good, good, good. Right. So you should be able to do you pretty quickly and easily. And you guys have been having a nice few days of the beginning of summer weather from what I understand. My wife was talking to her sister and they were very much enjoying the warm weekend. Let's get organised to take that rubbish on stage 2. John Senior, welcome along. Got the British stalwarts in the house. Yeah, that's what I tease her with. I say, well, you know, you get your week of summer a year, and so it's a bit dangerous if you get it early. Glad to hear you had a good one, John. Just duck down here and do this little funny shape. Wow. That'll be starting to get concerning to people, I would have thought. Given the amount of water management, particularly London, from what I understand, has to do, that'll be starting to feel very dry to people, I would have thought. Come out. Whoops, I missed a nasty spot there, didn't I? We'll go back and get it in a sec. Ah, right. I was reading somewhere in the last week that the weather pattern over the Pacific that officially kind of is the major driving force I've identified between it before. Spit it out. Find your words, son. That they've identified controls the east coast of Australia weather, the La Nina, and I can't remember the other one. It's very simple. El Nino, La and El. Anyway, it's officially switched, so the wet and cool pattern that's been driving our weather for the last few years is likely to switch to dry and hot, which for folks that have been hit with heaps of floods over the last little while, oh, the country is fine because London had rain. Right. So it's nothing to do with the fact that most of London's rain just washes straight out the Thames into the North Sea. At the moment, it just feels like a cool without being cold, fairly damp winter here in Melbourne. No snow to speak of in the hills at this stage. Right, there is the fertilising done down here. Oh, actually, we can probably sneak up the edge of the crop did spend a few minutes over the weekend picking up some of the trees, which is how we got some cash. Most water in England goes down south. Okay. Yes, I must admit I am not at all au fait with British weather patterns. My trips to the UK have tended to be, there's been plenty of them, but they've been somewhere between 1 and 4 days at a time. Most commonly in the winter, which just makes everything feel shorter given it's dark at 4 in the afternoon. There we go. We'll duck over and get some more fertilizer while we're doing this job. There's some more trees to pack up here, as you can see, but I did get some off, which is what's contributed to having a little bit of cash available. While we're shooting up the switchback road here. So you can see I put grass in the field where we want to put the olives. Have a look at that while we're just sitting up here. So that's our field for the olives, which I've cleared and grassed. So that'll be a fairly reasonable olive grove. I can do a quick estimate now. If we run down that side, so it's going to be about 20,000 a run for olive trees. So I reckon we want to be putting at least, well, as many as we can get. So we probably, what are we going to get across there? 10 or 12. I like planting them in sets of 6 or 7. It seems to just sort of look good. So we're going to need a couple of 100,000, but we're on the way. We've got 76 there. We've got quite a few trees and bits of produce to sell. And we are, of course, still moving animals around. We've got a surfeit of, I think that's the word, of bacon. Are we out of, oh no, we've got the lid shut. There we go. I didn't think we were out of fertilizer. Now, around to here. Whoops, that was tighter than I was anticipating. So we'll get the grass off there next and get make sure the sheep are topped off for the minute, because they seem to be munching through a prodigious amount of grass. Let's see here. This should take us down the field nicely. could also be a plethora. Are either of you gentlemen... Oh, we've got quite a few people have popped in. Welcome to those that have popped in and are enjoying the rear seats. Great to have you along. Nice to see you here. Plenty happening on Newlands today, so we shall have a few different activities. Got to get got to get those fields mowed, and then we want to join them together because that's going to be the cornfield this year. So that is today's major activity. Oops, decide which side of the field you want to finish. See if we can get another load of trees across to the sell point would be a good idea as well. Go and do that in a second. The question I was going to ask is, are any of you cryptic crossword fans? I've discovered a new YouTube channel that I've been enjoying recently called Cracking the Cryptic. Operates on a far bigger scale than my weeny little farm sim attempt. Run by two British guys who are particularly good at puzzles. Oops. So I've been quite enjoying that. They do, obviously been going for a while. They've got 500,000 subscribers. And they do Sudokus. Simon is one of the guys who I quite particularly enjoy watching his contributions. Just the way his mind works is fascinating. But in particular, what I've enjoyed is he does they've done a bit of a series of about the last 3 months or so. Excuse me. At the end of the week, Simon has a go at the cryptic crosswords, and particularly the Times cryptic. But what I really enjoy about it is he does it in such generally easy to follow and entertaining way. It typically takes him live. Now, where am I going next? I'm going to take the front weight off. It's just really interesting to watch, and I've been known to try the odd cryptic over the years, and there's a kind of a lowbrow paper here in Melbourne, let's call it that, the Herald Sun. Oops, let's try getting them front more on the front even. And I've made reasonable fist of their cryptics on occasion. It tended to be a holiday sort of activity where I'd buy this paper at the holiday spot we would camp at, just because it was kind of easy to consume. And then I'd spend the day mulling over the cryptic crossword in the background. Sometimes I'd get close to getting it out. I don't think I've ever got one out on its own. English sun is as low as you can get. I don't think solving cryptics while I'm trying to drive a tractor and stream at the same time is going to be my forte, John, but I'll ponder it. English sun is as low as you can get. Well, that's what I've really enjoyed about these streams. So now I understand why the vague occasions where I've traveled, when I've been traveling, where I've had a go at the Times cryptic, I've got absolutely nowhere. Watching him do these solves, it's perfectly obvious why. First of all, my vocabulary is wrong. Yeah, I don't know that there's any relationship between the sun and the heralds, the sun in the UK and the herald sun here. If there is a link up, I'm not across it. But yeah, my vocab is wrong. My knowledge of specific British type things is sadly lacking. And there were a whole bunch of aspects of clue construction that I was completely oblivious to. So 16 episodes in, now why am I've got to get out of there, that's why. I at least find myself able to, and the neat thing that works really well with his style and the way he kind of does the, is being a YouTube video, you can kind of solve along. So if you can see it up there, you know which clue he's going to do next. And if you want to pause the video, because he has a bit of a tendency to just write them in sometimes, which is just forever reminding you of your own inadequacies. But you can sort of pause, solve along, knowing that he's going to give it to you eventually and explain how the clue works. And I find it really entertaining. It's kind of almost up there with needing to do the crossword yourself in the morning. You can just sit there and watch a 30-minute vid, and the only downside is he only does it once a week. So if you're interested, we're going to send you, just to get you done, King the Cryptic, Simon, can't remember his surname. And his partner in crime is Mark. I haven't watched a lot of Mark's stuff. I tend to enjoy watching Simon. Bit of a character. It's not jumping out at me. If that your English sun reference was a cryptic clue, Mark. So if it is, it's gone over my head. Hey, I'll talk to anyone that's got a good puzzle. I like puzzles. Now, where were we up to? We were about to mow the lawn. Or the grass, so to speak. So let's go and do that. I haven't decided what to plant in that little field there. I'm thinking we'll make that grass because we're going to need it. Is that on the field? No, that'll be it. Just make sure there's enough room. Now we're going to do this thing with mower to make sure we're set. And cutting the right style, put you down and turn you on. You're looking wrong again. So is it? That's looking like the better color. And go to the front. And I think we have it set correctly, right? Anyway, Mark, there's no need for alarm. There's no danger that I will be adding crossword solves to the channel anytime soon. Bruce Salter, good to see you. Welcome along. Well, we might as well do this all as one field to the extent that we can. There is quite a lot, but there's no rush. We've got, now that I think about it, oh, actually, does tree saplings, we've got heaps of wood chips, and we were going to check our fabrics coming up nicely. And in fact, the price is coming up nicely. Might be time to sell fabric at top price. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll get to that afterwards. Jason McKinley, good to see you as well there. I didn't expect it would show wood on the floor, but the purpose of looking at that was just to say we've actually got quite a lot of wood chips in our production, and I sold 2 loads of wood. So the wood that was on the road, I sold 2 loads and put 1 in the wood chip plant. So we've got heaps of wood chips for the moment. So that's why I was kind of happy. What I'll do with those trees is sort of get them a little bit organized. We might put a rack sort of area of some sort in just to be able to make them neatly out of the way. That's wonderful to have you along, Jason. I remember those days of going to work. To be honest, I miss them an enormous amount. Not as much as I thought I would. Miss the people. Miss some aspects of the job. Don't miss the stress, that's for sure. Probably could zoom in a little bit here. This would be a little bit more interesting to look at. What have I got? Don't know, I haven't. Yeah, I worked about half my career on the sell side, so customer facing, and then this literally almost exactly half, and then I switched across to be buy side, and I must say I enjoyed the roles that were associated with buy side more than the sell side. That said, I enjoyed a whole bunch of aspects of the first half of my career a heap, so I wouldn't trade any of that for anything. I just didn't enjoy that brief period of that first half where I was a salesman. It was not my, well, the records will show I was pretty good at it, but did not enjoy it. Funny how the little things stick in your mind. You know, you say it, customers not at all. One of the aspects of that early part of my career that I didn't enjoy was having to take people to lunch and entertain people that you didn't actually like. I found that so hard. Some of my colleagues and peers, that's kind of what they lived for, but I just found that terribly difficult. I was quite pleased that with the advent of the change in the marketplace through the end of the 90s, that sort of entertainment and the 80s lunch kind of was consigned largely to history. Albeit to be replaced by the endless cups of coffee business trend. No, I'm not. Does it show, John? Turn you around, we can just go back and forth, I think now. We're getting a nice cut of grass off here. This should hopefully keep the sheep under control for a little bit. If anyone was in fact vaguely wondering, yes, it was a mistake. I did shut off or end last night's stream before the allotted hour. I got confused. I was probably a little bit tired, but wasn't thinking straight. Went out to the kitchen afterwards, and first thing my wife said was, "Oh, you finished early." Yeah, it's like, well, that wasn't deliberate. I'm quite looking forward on the oaks to the impending, this just sounds weird to say all these words in the same sentence, the impending sugar beet season. I like where we're getting to with the oaks. We've got some scale to our operation. It's not a chore to think about ways to grind out the investment that we need to continue expanding. So coming together nicely, I think, and I will be quite intrigued to see what a few reasonable size sugar beet contracts there do to our finances. Similarly on here, the fact that we can afford to branch into olives. Do I want the grain mill on the oak? No, the only mill we own on the oaks is the sugar mill. So I'm in a couple of, well, I'm sitting on the fence as to whether we need more productions on there or not. I'll be interested to see how we go with the sugar mill. If it sort of secures a good enough cash flow for us along with just the raw value of our crops, I'm inclined not to purchase any more productions on the oaks. I typically only use them when I'm trying to bolster income. It's a thought. The donut factory mod would certainly enable us to buy the map pretty quickly, I would have thought, with the crop sizes we're generating. Yeah, I hear you, John. In fact, it reminds me of a very kind of weird experience that I had. So I started my career as an engineer, and even though I was straight out of university and not really a badged engineer for particularly long, I got quite used to the fact that you'd go to the client and they'd be interested in what you had to say and take your advice about things. That was kind of cool. And I was astonished when, after, what was it, about 3 or 4 years of that, pretty early on when I switched across to be the lead salesman, which I did for career reasons, and I went out to my client and I took an engineer with me because that was the right thing to do for this particular call. And in the course of conversation, I answered the customer's question using my engineering experience, only to have the customer look me in the eye, then look across to the junior engineer I had with me to look for confirmation of what I'd just said. And it was just bizarre. It was one of those things that happen in your career every now and again. You go, oh, wow, remember that. Very good, John. I think we all collect little stories like that over the years. Customers are always right until they're not, was my observation. Four flour, 3 sugar, 2 eggs makes 7 donuts. Yeah, I remember seeing the donut factory. And my recollection was Daggerman used it on his Hot Balaron series, and it was making him like 20,000 bucks 1,000 liters, I recall, or something along those sort of lines. It was just a ridiculous amount of cash that he was generating from making donuts. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. He was definitely the donut king. Well, now we know the approximate field size that generates enough grain to keep the chickens fed. Might as well just go straight down here and get this little crossover strip. We can definitely think about a grain production for the next harvest season. I mean, the good thing is we'll have choices, right? The sugar will make us a handy amount of money, and a couple more fields and the contract income will substantially reduce because we'll have so much work on there to just get our own fields prepped and operated. So that's kind of the point I'm aiming for. Part of my reluctance, or reluctance is the wrong word, desire to keep the productions down is already with the sugar and the chickens, and we haven't really seen much kick in yet with the milk. We've got so much produce output to handle. Yeah, there you go. 930k. That's a pretty handy annual income. I mean, when you look at it, we're getting those sort of numbers from the silage. And I haven't stopped to count, but we're going to end up with a bazillion straw bales when we take them all off field 68. Right. That's plenty of cash. Well, that's the thing. I'm beginning to think of 4X maps as mid-size maps. But on a 4X map, once you start to get to the point where you've got a sizable operation and you need the bigger gear, you can burn through cash Yes, it is, John. big equipment eats those numbers for breakfast, that's for sure. I mean, that's where we are here. We've sort of taken a bit of a combination, but we're very much collecting the productions that complement our crop. But with this year, I'm hoping we'll be closer to having enough crop produced from the farming operations to balance the animals that we're running. That's kind of the point I'm aiming for. I don't want to run more animals, but I would like to be able to sustain the feed for a year, which we're close to doing. Well, that's right. You know, those big self-propelled units, it's really no different. They were a decent modern grain harvester is $500,000 as well, so any of the specialty harvesting equipment is dear. The big tractors, you know, we jump into a, you know, you can figure up one of these beasts over here and you're easily in the getting up to $500,000 worth of tractor, right? Good 1,000. What's that? 500 horsepower. Now something like that would be fairly handy on the farm. But there's 367, so I haven't had a series or even a personal playthrough. Oh, that's right, got to add GPS in there. Or a personal playthrough where I've really got to that level of tractor. I've tended to get it when I've been playing on my own, distracted before I got to that point. I think that's one of the reasons that I'm adding to my continued enjoyment in the Oaks, is I can see a path that's interesting for me as a player to into that sort of realm. Yes, yeah, if they come up in the sale, that's the place to grab them. Yeah. Well, it's also we're having a few options so that you're not, like, if something doesn't come up in the sale, you can take an alternative path, which is kind of the way we developed on here, to be honest. I certainly didn't have a set plan of any sort on here. We just started with the garden center. Oh, yeah, that was, you couldn't have screwed. 2 harvesters plus a header. All right, I'm still waiting for the other header to drop. Yeah, let's see. We'll pick the mowers up for a sec. That little square over near the sheds, I don't know if it'll cut it or not. It's not ready for cut, but given we're going to plant into it, we might as well see. No, it's too short. Okay. Okay, so Control X did fold everything up. Even if it didn't lift the front mower. Okay. Let's go around and wash them while we're here. That way I don't have to put them back in the shed dirty. Come on. Wandered too far away. I'll just pretend it makes a difference, Mark. Right. Drip you those into the back of the shed. Oh, doing so well. And then we drop the incorrect one off. Now, I think that's an excellent rule on multiplayer. It's like anything, well, it's like a workplace, right? If stuff is kept in its place, it makes everybody's experience better. Now, what's happening over here? Why is everything all smooshed up? I could probably sell those at some point. I would imagine those two will get up to all sorts of mischief. About 5% of which we'll hear about. Whoop. That's my understanding. But they clearly have a good chemistry, so it'll be fun. After the noise of the mower, this is strangely relaxing. I do enjoy grass work, I must say. No worries, Jason. Thanks for popping in. Have a good one. We'll be back as usual on the Oaks on Friday morning. Let's try not to sweep the timber into the field. There we go. I'm thinking we're going to bail this, because I don't think we'll be able to put a load straight into the sheep pen, but I don't think it'll take much more than that. We should duck up and move some more pigs around too when I finish this lap, I think, just so that that's happening in parallel. It'd be nice to get the stocking level on the main sty down to or out of the overstocked situation, so that we can start getting the value of those, or the health of those pigs, back on track. Probably fairly safely just let you go on a worker, I guess, without making too much of a mess. Be nice to kind of get rid of that Doika silo there. I'm not a big fan of it. Now I'm wondering where my animal trailers ended up. Whoops. Okay, you're stuck there just eating money. All of a sudden you decided you couldn't back in there. Don't know why. And you have to get out this way. Having successfully done that 20 or 30 times, today you didn't work. You can go back to potted tree load. Very good. Now, where is... Oh, you're over here. Do you have pigs in you? Yes, you do. I forgot which way we're going. So, you guys... Move to production. Yes. Okay. So we'll send you back. Something else is eating money. Well, now that'll be the vehicle returning, and the worker that I've got running the windrower. Let's just, because I've not got it much. Oh, I don't think I'm running any discounting on worker prices on here, so it's eating them at a prodigious rate. Because I don't use it, I only use them for driving usually. Where are we going? Have I got no potted tree load? There it is. I don't want to go to potted tree load, that's why. I want to go to the main pigsty. Thank you. So... right. You're doing a fairly reasonable job there. Where's the other tractor? Oh, and that's pulling that. When a tractor short on this. I must fix the... I forgot during the week. This one doesn't actually have any silage in it. So that's another reason why we need to keep some loose grass, because that's the last of our... Pretty sure. Got, oh, maybe it does. That one does have. It was the maize that I fixed. There's no maize silage in the one on the right. But we're down to... It doesn't tell me how much grass silage is in there. What about on our tool? Yeah, something very weird. Because there's definitely still some grass silage there. That's how I was able to load that scoop, but it doesn't show it. And the maize silage, we've got heaps in the bunker behind the shed. Okay. Cows have plenty of feed for the minute. So... why is he not running? I don't believe I stopped him. He just stopped himself and gave up. Good-o. Probably the pile of grass that was sitting there spooked him. Big nasty stack. Let's get rid of that. No worries, Mark. Have a good one. Thanks for popping in and keeping us company. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Good eye. I think I'm going to do it this way. Don't know why I'm only doing 8 miles an hour. I thought this went faster than that. Maybe it's a maintenance issue. I haven't got any mods on that slow down due to lack of maintenance. There is quite a bit of timber sitting there, isn't there? That'll be handy extra income. I am not. I did try a couple of the REA mods, and what I found was they sort of tipped the experience. You know, if sort of realism is a continuum, they flicked it to the far end to the point that I found it annoying to play, and I figured that was not the intention. What I have been toying with, I've been watching Virtual Farmer stream is realism experiment on the Oaks, and I watch his stream on his series on Addingham, and he's for a little while now been using the mud mod, and I quite like the way that works. So that kind of bumps you up the realism scale without taking you too far, and puts you in a position where you can make some choices. So when it rains, after it's been raining for a few minutes, vehicles sink into the fields and will get bogged eventually. And that condition remains for a few minutes after the rain stops. So kind of feels like a good halfway house. It's not practical to do field work when it's raining because the vehicles don't handle it. I kind of like that concept. Right, that's probably given me enough headlands at this end. We'll just go backwards and forwards. I think about that fabric we've got sitting there. That's probably, did it tell us what the total was? Fabric. Yeah, 80,000 of that. So we've got our 200 to buy our olives, so that's pretty good. In fact, if we sell those, we can probably put the olives in, because the grass has come up in that field, which is all I was going for. I just wanted to grass it before it so that we got the precision farming score off the floor. I wasn't originally thinking about it, but I am now thinking that I might. We'll go and have a look in a minute. We've got to sell the fabric first. Part of the reason I wasn't is that I wasn't expecting the fabric to hit such a good price, so I thought we might have to wait till next month for the fabric. But as it's turned out, we'll get closer to it than I expected. Mind you, there's a good 20 to 30 minutes faffing around to get that fabric packaged up and sold. I'm just thinking, where's there a trailer with that? I might use a transport bag. That might be the simplest. Oh, actually, we could use one on the back of the Unimog. That might be the way to do it. Come on. U-turn, U-turn, U-turn. Let's get over and actually get all that grass. That'd be better. Let's pause this guy here for a moment. Fuel's not too bad. So it's not the tractor maintenance that's the issue. So, let's see here. Got wool to move over. I do have a trailer there with it, but we'll do it with the Unimog. Because he's got an empty on the back. Are you going to pick up out of there, or are you going to be annoying? No, you will. We just give you a bump. Oh, I picked up the top row at least. No. Of course you did. There we go. Is that full yet? No. At least they load reasonably quickly. What's that in there? 9,000. Rightio, that's a full load. Send you across. More pigs. So that should be reasonably speedy. So we should be able to get them in tonight, I think, John. We'll see how we go. The trickiest bit is just trying to lay them straight. I tried to cut the edge of the field. Now what do we got here? 18 months. I want to leave the 18 months there. 10 months. Let's pull you out of there. Let's take you round. Pretty sure I made some space in the fattening yard earlier, the extension yard earlier, didn't I? Extension yard 36, 40, 50, yes. There should be room for 20 in there. Yeah, ideally what I want to do is plant them on a cardinal compass bearing if I can, which is often the tricky bit. Move those to the husbandry, yes. Okay. So now if we go back. With any luck, I'm hoping this trailer load brings us down under. Okay, we'll check. Turn there. That's it. How many have I got in the yard? 272. No, it won't. Okay, but it's getting closer. So 10 months, select, just move to trailer. So we'll send you. Meat works, animal drop, good. You've got fabric. Where's fabric selling here? Tippin'. Which sell points fabric? Oh, might be that one behind us there. This is what happens when you've never sold fabric. It could also be all the way over there. As we drive round the lot looking for, let's just see all the sell points. That might be easier and quicker. Okay, there's one up there. It looks like it'll be for wood. Get out of there. That's the vegetables one. Yeah, so it's not you. Yeah, that looks like the fabric one just there, doesn't it? Get out of there. It's so annoying. Maybe I've got to take you off the truck. I think the camera's playing funny buggers today. There we go. That is the fabric one right there. And there's a nice healthy cash injection of $76,000. Yeah, we're having this silly issue where I can't put you back on the back. Ah! That was my own fault. Right. Get you out of here. Don't know why the camera is all of a sudden misbehaving. It's not the trigger zone. That problem that I was experiencing was universal auto load. So if you pick something up and move it into the load zone that it detects on the trailer or flatbed or whatever, it automatically releases it out of your hand because it tries to grab it, but it doesn't grab it properly in this particular case. It's a bit of an odd one. I want you to go to potted tree load. So let's go have a look at our field here. I actually want to be physically over here, don't I? Because let's just grab the tractor. Just remind myself what that long edge actually is in terms of angle. Yeah, what are you? You're at 94 currently. It's pretty close. Unfortunately, pretty close and exact are not the same thing, but let's see how we go. Let's pull you back off the fields. So, because it's a railway line at this end, we need to leave plenty of space. Orchards, right. So if I want to run that angle, I want to that. This is the tricky bit. Let's just parallel. Exactly, John. But the first issue is just to try and get these. What are you complaining about? That's about the right angle there. Or at least it's as close as I'll get to it. What's that looking like? It's not quite, is it? Oh well, that's what we're going to have. Now, in terms of length to turn the harvester, the reason for trying to do your first one just short to start is it'll snap now. For those that haven't done this before. So I can snap off there. And I can lengthen them if I want, but that's going to give me a run of the field. You see, that's not the angle that I want. Let's try that again. I reckon that will be enough wiggle room for turning. Eating through a bit of cash, not unexpected. What's that? 3, 6. Yep. So that's our first stand. Because now what I want to do is that's about the width. Yeah, I'm not quite on the 90-degree. I would have got closer if I'd done this first. But you can see 200,000 doesn't go very far. And it'll look better when there's another stand of trees on the other side of it. So now we just need to find the next 20,000 and 200,000 to put the next lot in. But that gets them begun. They'll look pretty good here when they're done. Not unhappy with that. Let's go and finish rowing up our grass. We've probably got sugar there to sell as well. When's the sugar due for sale? Sugar. Getting pretty close, and we have got quite a lot of sugar there. So some more trees and some sugar will give us what we need for the next, I don't know what you call section. Let's call it a section of our grove. The the planting window for olives is actually 4 months. So we've got 2 more months that we can put them down. So I'm feeling pretty confident we'll get another 7 strips in, and the field does get a little bit narrower, so it won't be quite as much money as we just spent. As we saw, we've got a little bit of sugar there to sell. We've got some more trees up at the yard, up at the garden centre. So that'll get us pretty darn close. I think we'll be able to put them in next month without too much difficulty. Oops. And you want to be good. Looks good with all our crop out there in front of us. And then after we've got the next section in, the next saving point is for the oil mill, which is just up there. So we'll finish our, or extend our acquisition of the industrial sector. Yeah, it must be maintenance on this. We can run it over and see if it makes a difference. That won't take a sec. I can't think of any other reason why it would be going so slowly, because it should be doing, what, 13 or 14 mile an hour, I would have thought. Actually, one way we can check. Let's have a look here. Windrows. Oh no. It's down a fraction, but it's only a 9 mile an hour device. So while we're here, let's maintain it. So it's not a speedy windrow. It was only cheap. I'll just get spoilt by some of the other ones that you pick up. So I'll think of it. Turn those off. Okay, repair you. And you. Expensive to repair, that's for sure. Sounds very speedy. I'd be worried about taking off unless the blades from the windrow or the tines or whatever they're called create a ground effect and suck it to the ground. Rusty Money Gaming, how are you? Hope it's been a good day for you, Rusty. Many parts distributed. As you can see, we're just rowing up some conditioned grass here so that we can keep our sheep fed. Well, there you go. So there is some ground effect. We just spent a bunch of cash and put some olives in, Rusty, so added yet another crop to our growing enterprise here. That tree needs to come out. That's in the spot where we're going to join the fields up as soon as we get the grass off. We might as well deal with that now. Put you over on the wood pile. Don't mind me, only balsa trees in these forests. That's better. We might actually plant some trees after harvest season. Now that we've sort of got the main body of the farm established, there's a few places where we could potentially pop some trees in. Yes. That it does. Right. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Rusty, but 82 Studios has been busy again, and he's released heavy haulage. You might need to find a spot on one of your series for a tow vehicle operator. I reckon you could have a bit of fun with that. No worries, John. Thanks for keeping me company. It's very much appreciated. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we might catch you at the end of it. Oh, there you go, Mechanic Mike. I reckon he could do with a big rig with a that can carry fuel. From what I could tell, I haven't tried it out. I just saw it, the screenshots of it. It's pretty impressive looking unit, and I can imagine it fitting a number of storylines, particularly on an American playthrough map, American based farm. It looks like it would look right at home. Sort of thing that I could imagine making in an appearance in something like Argsy's Traveller series on UMRV, or for instance. Is it Dan, the character there? I can't remember the character's name. Could do a stint going and collecting something. Well, this grass should keep the cows happy. The sheep happy for a little while at least. So I think we'll do one trailer load with the forage wagon, and then the rest will bail. Will be the easiest, because the actual sheep pen won't take more than a trailer load. We can check actually. We probably do need to put some aside to make some grass silage as well, because we'll need that for the TMR. So maybe we need 2 trailer loads. We'll just see. And then just bale whatever's left over. But I've got to find a way to reset that silage clamp that's pretending that it's got 40,000 litres of silage in it, but you can't get at it. I might have to just delete that and replace it. Suppose we don't need it where it is over there. Right. Just about finished this one. Just a couple little short runs to go. It's been a productive session. I think we will put grass in that field in front of me. And of course we've got the corn going in here, so we've got a couple of little strips to do to join it together. And it'll be a good sized cornfield. Well, I'm thinking that's where I might leave the stream for today. Thanks everybody so much for popping in and saying hi and watching how we continue to develop Newlands. It's very much appreciated. Should be, all being well, another episode of the Griffin series out later on today my time, and then of course we'll have another installment of the Valley Challenge tomorrow. So until I see you next time, everybody stay safe, have fun, see ya. Thanks Rusty, have a good one mate.